Good morning, everyone. My name is Abhishek Singh, and welcome to the last class on PGCET training. And today I'll teach you permutation combination. So the topic what I'll do for you today is permutation combination. So when we talk about this topic called permutation combination, I you can understand the importance of this topic. Like if I talk about year 2019 paper. So in 19 paper, around two questions were there on permutation combination, and one question was there for probability. Okay, so probability, in order to do the problem on probability, you need to be good with permutation combination. So in altogether in 2019, you can expect means it came only three question came from this topic called permutation combination and probability. When I come with 2018 paper, if I compare this with this topic permutation in 2018 paper, so in 2018, 1 minute. So in 2018, I can tell you how many questions came from permutation combination. So in 2018, 1 minute. So one question, then two, three, four, five, around six question came in 2018 based on this topic called permutation combination. So by that you can understand how this topic is so much important for you. A permutation combination is nothing but it's the advanced concept of numbers. So the numbers what you learned, so it is something where we talk beyond number. Like this question number 96. So here they wrote from the digit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many five-digit number can you form such that that number have a distinct digit and they are a multiple of 12. So many people will put this question under a chapter called number. Many people will put this question under a chapter called permutation combination. Permutation combination is an advanced concept where we think beyond number. So when we think beyond number, so then we'll try to solve the concept in that manner. So it's like all are interrelated with each other. You can see question number 90. So again, a seven-digit number you have to form, uh, and that seven-digit number you can only form with only 2 and 3. So you have to form a seven-digit number with only, and you have to form in such a way that the number should be multiple of 12. So how many such numbers can you make? So this is, many people put this numbers, many people put this under PNC. Same goes with question number 94. That the sum of three natural number ABC is 10. How many order triplets ABC can exist? So be 93 also you can see the same way. So you can understand the idea of telling you all this is that you have to understand the importance of the chapter called numbers and how that number is interrelated with the concept of permutation combination. So when we study the concept of permutation combination, we need to be clear with the concept of factorial. So we should be clear with the concept of factorial. So when I say factorial, maybe if I'm saying 7 factorial, what is basically 7 factorial? 7 factorial is 7 into 6 into 5, 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So basically, whenever we the concept of factorial, when we talk about what is factorial, so factorial is nothing but it's whenever you say factorial, so the concept of factorial is nothing but you just multiply the number. Like if I'm saying n factorial, so you multiply that number while taking that number one digit less. That multiplication you'll do till 1. That is the concept of factorial. So this factorial term is very important. We start studying the concept of permutation combination. In the concept of factorial, you should know this: 0 factorial means 1, 1 factorial, the value of 1 factorial is 1, then 2 factorial, 2 into 1 means 2, then 3 factorial is 3 into 2 into 1 means 6, then 4 factorial means 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 means 24, Then 5 factorial is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. That means 120. So like that, 6 factorial, I can write 6 factorial as 6 into 5 factorial, or I can write this as 6 into 5 into 4 factorial. So that gives you 720. If I'm asking you what is 7 factorial, 7 factorial, like that you can write 7 factorial is 5040, 8 factorial is 40320, 9 factorial is 362880. So you have to memorize all these values. The more you memorize, better it would be for you. Fine. So when I am saying 9 factorial, that is 40320 into 9. Okay, so that is nothing but that is 362880. So you should be clear with the concept of factorial. If possible, please memorize these values. These values, what I have written on my screen, you can see the recorded form. If right now, if you could not able to write down these values, you can watch the recorded video, and there please write it down and memorize it. Okay, so memorize these values. Now, whenever you write the digits, whenever you write the number in the form of factorial, means whenever I'm talking about n factorial, so in those n factorial, you can see a few numbers which are ending with 0. You can see few numbers which are not ending with 0. So here you can understand from 0 factorial to 4 factorial, all the numbers are ending with no 0. You can see here from 0 factorial to 4 factorial, you can see all the numbers are ending with no 0. While from 4 factorial, while from 5 factorial, while from 5 factorial to infinity factorial, the number will end with 0. All the number, all the number will end with 0. So you have to understand this. So when I talk from 5 factorial to doesn't mean till infinity, doesn't mean I don't know what is the value of infinity. But what I mean to say that from 5 factorial, you go till any limit, all the numbers will end with 0. You can take any number. You can use calculator. You can take any value. All the number will end with 0. Why they're ending with 0? Because you'll get a 0 when 5 is multiplied with 2. You have to understand, when you get a 0, you will get a 0 whenever the 5 is multiplying with 2. So till 4 factorial, there is no 5. Although there is a 2, but there is no 5. So from 5 factorial, all the numbers ending with 0 because there is a 5. So you can understand, after every alternate digit 2 comes. After every alternate digit 2 comes. But 5 comes, you can understand, after 5 terms. So the number of zeros actually depends upon the number of 5. Okay, so number of zeros will depend upon the number of 5. So how many 5s are there? Okay, let me erase this. So number of 0, whenever you talk about a number of 0 depends upon the number of 5. So you have to understand, from 0 factorial to 4 factorial, if I talk about how many zeros are there, that number of 0 depends upon the number of 0 depends number of 5. So no 0 is there. From 5 factorial to 9 factorial, all number end with 1 0, because there's only one 5 which can multiply with 2. And whenever 5 and 2 multiply, then will you get a 0. So from 10 factorial to 14 factorial, all number will end with 2 0. From 15 factorial to 19 factorial, all number will end with 3 0. Why 3 0? You can easily understand. Whenever I'm talking about, suppose 19 factorial, so 19 factorial, 3 5 will come. Where those 3 5 will come? At 15, at 10, at 5. So because 3 5 will come, that's why 3 zeros are there. So from 20 factorial to 24 factorial, all the number will end with 4 0. Similarly, from 25 factorial to 29 factorial, all the number will end with 6 0, not 5. You have to understand that, because if I'm asking you 27 factorial, where the 5 will come? 25, 20, 15, 10 and 5. Here how many 5 is there? 2. Here how many 5? 1. Here how many 5? 1. Here how many 5? 1 only 5, 1. So you have to understand this. So from 25 factorial to 29 factorial, all the number will end with, all the number, when you talk about how many zeros they will there, so these zeros are called trailing zeros. So how many zeros will be there? How many zeros are there? For that, if you want to count the number of zeros, zeros will be there. For that, you have to count the number of 5. If you count the number of 5, you get the number of 0. So I hope you can easily understand this concept. The shortcut formula for counting the number of zeros, if I ask the number of zeros, so if I ask you 100 factorial end with how many zeros? Suppose if I ask you 100 factorial end with how many zeros? If I'm asking you 100 factorial end with how many zeros? So if I'm asking you 100 factorial end with how many zeros, then you need to count how many fives are there at 100, 95, 90, 85, 80, 75. You understand 70, 65, 60, 55, 50, like that. You have to count the number of fives. And counting that would be big cumbersome exercise. So the shortcut formula for counting the number of zeros would be divide the 100 by 5. The shortcut formula for counting the number of zero is divide the number by 5. This is the shortcut formula. Divide the number by 5, get the quotient. So whatever the quotient you get, again divide that quotient by 5. Again divide that quotient by 5. Whatever the quotient you get, again divide that quotient by 5. Keep dividing till the time you cannot divide further. So the number of zeros, in 100 factorial, if you want to count, that is 20 plus 4 plus 0. So the number of zeros in 100 factorial is 24 zeros are there. Fine. So you can keep that in your mind. So this is a shortcut formula. Whatever numbers, if I ask you 2772 factorial, end with how many zeros? If I ask you 2772 factorial, end with how many zeros? If I'm asking you, it is ending with how many zeros? So what is the shortcut formula? Divide 2772 by 5, get the quotient. What is the quotient you get? 27. 27 means 22 means 544. Okay, 25, then 27. 27 means 27 means again 5, then 22 means 4. So this is the quotient 554. Again divide 554 by 5. What is the quotient you get? 110. Okay, 110 you will get the quotient. 110 you will get quotient. Again divide 110 by 5. What quotient you will get? 22 you will get. Divide 22 by 5. What quotient you get? 4. Divide 4 by 5. What quotient you get? 0. So the number of zeros, so the number of trailing zeros we call, that is 554 plus 110 plus 22 plus 4. That will give you the answer. So this is how much? This is 664. This is 664 plus this is 26. This is 10. This is 9. 690 zeros. You are not caring about reminder, Reshma. So we are not concerned about the reminder. We are just concerned about the quotients. How many quotients are there? So you just count the quotients. So here that doesn't matter, no? How many zeros are there? So here this number 19 factorial is not 19 factorial is not divisible by 5. It doesn't mean 19 factorial. How many zeros are there? To divide 19 by 5. Divide 19 by 5. What is the quotient? 3. So 3 0. And so that matter that number is divisible or not divisible. Okay. So this, remember this concept. Okay. Now going further, the next concept, if you want to understand that this I told you how to count the number of trailing zero. The next concept, if you want to know, you can find out this digit also. This digit, this is called last non-zero digit. This digit of n factorial, if you want to know, you can also find this. This is called last non-zero digit. This is called last non-zero digit. This is called last non-zero digit. So that is not important for your PGCET exam. So if you really want to know that part, you can watch my video where I talked about in my quantitative aptitude section. You can watch my video of finding the last non-zero digit and last two non-zero digit. I can tell you that there's a method is there for that. So the formula for that is 2 to the power a into a factorial into b factorial. This is the formula of finding the last non-zero digit. Finding the last non-zero digit. Just you can watch my video there. You'll under if you are really interested. GCT exam, that is not important. Where is the number in this form? When we express the number in this form, this is the formula. This is the formula for this is the formula for finding the last non-zero digit. If you are interested, you can do that. Okay, fine. So so going further, so you should be clear with the concept of if you are clear with the concept of factorial, then only you can understand the basic terminology in permutation combination. So basically, where the concept of factorial comes, where we actually work on the concept of factorial. Like suppose if I ask you that four persons are there, four persons are there, and four persons are there, and four chairs is there. Four persons are there and four chairs are there. So four persons are there and four chairs are there. So in how many ways, if I ask you, in how many ways, in how many ways four can four person, in how many ways can four person can sit, in how many ways can four person can sit on four chair? Okay. So if I ask you this, so very simple. The answer for this is 4 factorial. So here the concept of factorial comes. So otherwise, manually, if you do the work, it would become a very cumbersome work for you. So four chairs are there and four persons are there. A, B, C, D. So four chairs are there and four person is there. Now if you talk about how to get this value called 4 factorial, so for that what you can do, you can think about the first person. For the first person, four chairs are there. The first person can sit in any four chairs. So when you talk about the first person, the four persons are there, four chairs there. When you talk about the first person, so the first person, four places are there. So the first person can sit in any four ways. Okay, so the four chairs are there. Whoever is the first person, he can go and sit in any chair. So either first chair or second chair or third chair or fourth chair. So for the first person, the number of ways is four ways. Okay, once the first person went, he sat in some chair, doesn't matter to me which chair he sat. Now for the second person, when you talk about for the second person, the number of chair left for the second person to sit in is three chair left only, because on one chair, definitely the first person would have sat. So now for the second person, only three chair is there. So now the second person sat somewhere. Okay. Then for the third person, how many ways the third person can sit? So the third person can sit in how many ways? So the third person can sit in two ways, because two chair left for the third person. But now for the fourth person, if you talk about the fourth person, so the fourth person can sit in how many ways? The fourth person can sit in one way. So whatever the chair left. So ultimately the answer is 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. And that is nothing but 4 factorial. So here the concept of factorial comes. So basically, when you talk about this form of working, so you can understand that application by using the concept of factorial. I hope you are clear with the concept of factorial. So we don't work on cumbersome exercise. So if you are not believing on doing cumbersome exercise, you can solve the problem by working on factorial. And those people who are good with the concept of permutation combination, they can say 4 factorial is nothing but 4p4. So, and those who understand the concept of permutation combination, they can say that 4 factorial is nothing but 4p4. So that way they can develop their understanding. Okay, so it's all up to you how you can understand the given situation, and that way, if you can understand, it will really good for you to develop that understanding. Okay, now imagine here four persons are there and four chairs were there. Maybe suppose six persons are there and four chairs is there. Six persons are there and four chairs are available to sit. We have six persons, but we have only four chairs to sit. Okay. So if I ask you in how many ways, if I ask you in how many ways, can 6% in how many ways can 6% can sit on 4 chairs, so earlier when n person were there and n chair was there, then the situation was very easy and the answer was n factorial. So n person, n chair, the situation was very easy and the answer was n factorial. But if the persons and chairs are not same, then how will we can solve this question? So if the person, very good Anusha. So if the very good, so if the person in chairs are very good Savita. So if the person and chair are not same, so how many ways this 6% can sit in 4 chairs? So you have to understand one thing, guys, that you have 4 chairs, okay, but the persons are 6. You do anything you want to do, you can use your brain, but you have to understand that ultimately only 4% can sit. You have to understand ultimately only 4% can sit. You cannot make 6% to sit in 4 chairs. I'm assuming one person on one chair, only one person are sitting. Okay. So I'm not going with that cases where maybe on one chair, two people sit like the way we used to do when we go for wedding and all. So less space is there. So people will sit in one place. So I'm not considering those cases. So if 6 persons are there, 4 chair is there. So ultimately 4% can only sit. So what we need to do, we need to select 4% from the 6%. Okay, now the problem comes. Because now I need to work on a random selection. Now the problem has came, and on because of this problem, I need to select. Ultimately, 4% can set. So ultimately, I have to select 4% from 6%. So I have to select 4% from the 6%, because 4 chair is there. So I need to select 4% from the 6%. So in how many ways this I can do? So this is done in 6C4 way. So this is done in 6C4 way. So those who understand combination, they can tell 6C4 is nothing but 6C2. Okay, so because whenever you are working on the cases, and ultimately you reach a situation where you need to work on selection. Whenever you are working on cases, and ultimately when you are doing this selection, if you reach a situation where you need to work on selection, and whenever we talk about random selection, I'm not talking about using brain. I'll see, okay, out of 6% girls are there, so I say, okay, fine, boys, you can eat food while standing also, but let the girls to sit. So okay, fine, girls, you come and you sit, and boys, they can manage by standing. So such things are not there. Imagine I'm working on random selection. So randomly from the 6%, if I have to choose 4%, so this is called random selection. So whenever we talk about random selection, so the random selection is called as combination. So whenever I talk about random selection, so the random selection is called as combination. So when we talk about combination randomly, so when you talk about combination, so the formula of combination is NCR, and we represent with a formula called n factorial by r factorial into n minus r factorial. So this we represent with a formula that is called NCR. So NCR means that is n factorial by r factorial by n minus r factorial. So if I talk about 6C4 means 6 factorial by 4 factorial into 6 minus 4 means 2 factorial. So if you solve this, you'll get the answer called 15. Okay, so you need to understand this part. This is called NCR, and very important thing, you need to remember this: NCR is equal to NCN minus R. Okay, so very important thing you have to understand here, that NCR is equal to NCN minus R. So if either you talk about 6C4 or either you talk about 6C2, both will give you the same answer. Okay, so you have to understand that part. So this is very important thing to understand. So ultimately here in this problem, because 4 chair is there, so I need to select a 4% from the 6%. So ultimately that is the only way. I have no other option, because I have to choose 4% from the 6%. So imagine the 6% were A, B, C, D, E, and F. Suppose 6 persons were there called A, B, C, D, E, and F. But I end up in choosing 4 persons. Suppose the 4 person I choose is A, B, E, and F. These are the 4 person I choose. So in how many ways I choose? I choose them in 6C4 way. So now I have 4 person. Who are those 4 person? A, B, E, and F. How I chose them? I chose them by 6C4 way. Now these 4 person in 4 chair will sit in how many ways? They will sit in 4 factorial way. Now these 4 person, now this 4 person what I chose, those were A, B, E, and F. So these 4 person what I choose, my work was not about choosing. If my work was only about choosing, then this combination. If my work is all only about choosing, whenever you work on random selection, if your work is only about selection, if your work is only about selection, that is combination. That is combination. But if you are thinking beyond combination, so beyond combination, if you think about random combination or random selection followed by random arrangement, you are arranging them also in certain manner. This is called permutation. This is called permutation. So when we represent permutation, permutation is represented by the formula called NPR, where NPR is nothing but n factorial by n minus r factorial. So permutation is represented with the formula called NPR, that NPR means n factorial by n minus r factorial. Always remember NPR is equal to NCR into r factorial. So when this is the relation between permutation and combination. So this is the relation between permutation and combination, where you NPR is equal to NCR into r factorial. So now coming back to this problem, so here you chose 4 person from the 6 person. Now these 4 person will sit in 4 places in 4 factorial way. This is also called as 6P4. And the answer for 6P4, when if I ask you what is 6P4, if I ask you what is 6P4, so 6P4 is nothing but 6 into 5 into 4 into 3. Very simple. So if I ask you what is 12C, what if I ask you what is 12P5? So how will you do 12P5? Start writing from 12 and write 5 terms by decreasing it by 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 terms. This is 12P5. If I ask you what is 17P3, 17P3 means 1, 2, 3. Fine. So you understand this. So no need to waste your time. Okay, you can waste your time 17P3 as 17 factorial by 17 minus 3 factorial. You can say that formula n factorial by n minus r factorial. Don't do all that. Okay, so this way you can save your time. So if I'm asking you 6P4, that is 6 into 5, 30, 30 into 12. That your answer is 360. So in how many ways, if I ask you in how many ways, so in how many ways the 6 person can sit on 4 chair. So in how many ways the 6 person can sit on 4 chair, the answer is 360. If I ask you 6 person and 4, if I ask you suppose if I ask you 4 person, if I ask you 4 person and 6 chair, so in how many ways 4 person can sit on 6 chair? Again the answer will remain the same only. Don't get confused in those cases. Still your answer will remain the same. Your answer will be still as 6P4 only. Clear, right? What 15? I did not understand. Anusha, what you wrote 15? 6C2 is 15. I wrote 15 only. No? Yeah. 6C2 or 6P4, that is 15. Yeah. So if I ask you 6 person 4 chair, or if I ask you 4 person 6 chair, your answer will remain the same. Your answer would be 6P4 only. So you need to understand the concept of permutation and combination. If you are clear with your concept of permutation combination, your solving ability will be very good. Okay. So if I ask you what is 7p3? If I ask you what is 7p3, so 7p3 is 7 into 6 into 5. Okay, so you have to understand. If I ask you what is 12p4, what is 12p4? That is 12 into 11 into 10 into 9. Okay, so develop an understanding for these concepts. Now, I told you before that NPR is equal to NCR into R factorial. I told you before that NPR is equal to NCR into R factorial. So I can say that NCR is equal to NPR by R factorial. So I can say that NCR is equal to NPR by R factorial. So you have to understand, if I asking you what is 12, if I'm asking what is 12p4, that is 12 into 11 into 10 into 9. Similarly, if I ask you what is 12c4, so 12c4 means 12p4 by 4 factorial. If I'm asking what is 12c4, so 12c4 is nothing but 12p4 by 4 factorial. So what is 12cp4? That is 12 into 11 into 10 into 9 by 4 factorial. 4 factorial means 24. So this, you'll get an answer called 495. Fine. So that understanding is very important, that we should be clear with these concepts and all. So if we are clear with the concept, we can solve the question very easily. Solving question it will not be a very difficult thing for us. Only thing, we need to understand the concept of permutation and combination. So if I ask you what is 18 C5, so what is 18 C5? So 18 C5 means 18 C5 means 18 P5 divided by 5 factorial. So 18 P5 means 18 into 17 into 16 into 15 into 14 divided by 5 factorial means 120. So if I talk about 120, so this I can write as 4, this is 30, so this is 30. So this I can write 9, and this is 15. This I can write as 3 and 5. 5 means 3 So this is nothing but 51 into 42, or uh, or what? Okay, so this is nothing but 17 3s are 51. Okay, 17 3s are 51 and 12 into 14. So 17 threes are 51 and then 12 into 14. I can find it value, that is my answer. That is 18C5. Okay, so I hope you are understanding the concept on permutation and combination. The basic formulas are very important for us to do the problem. Like if I ask you this question, tell me this question, that if NC14 is equal to NC16, if I'm saying NC14 is equal to NC16, find this value, 32 Cn. Solve this question, everyone. Everyone try this question. Okay, I told you before that NCR, I told you before that your NCR is equal to NCN minus R. So I told you before only this concept that your NCR equal to, whenever you talk about NCR, so your NCR is equal to NCN minus 1. I don't think anyone need proof on this. Okay, so if you want really proof, like 7C3 and 7C4 both means same thing. 7C3 means 7 factorial by 3 factorial into 7 minus 3 factorial. 7C4 means 7 factorial by 4 factorial into 7 minus 4 factorial. So this is 7 factorial by 3 factorial, 4 factorial. This is 7 factorial by 4 factorial, 3 factorial. I hope you understand this. So now if I'm saying if NC14 is equal to NC16, so that means, so this means NC14 is equal to NCN minus 14. I hope you can understand this. So if I'm telling you that if NC14 is equal to NC16, so I can say NC14 is equal to NCN minus 14. Okay. So this means NCN minus 14 is equal to C16. They are equal. You know that they are equal. So that means, what this means? This means 16 is equal to N minus 14. What this mean? This means 16 is, this is equal. So it is equal only when 16 is equal to N minus 14. Means what is your N? N is equal to 30. It means your N is equal to 30. This is a Pratiksha, this is a formula. So this, you have to remember, Pratiksha, one thing, that NCR is equal to NCN minus R. Okay, this thing you have to keep this in your mind. Like, so if I'm asking you what is 12C9, 12C9 is nothing but 12C3. If I'm asking you what is 17C2, 17C2 is nothing but 17C15. So like that way, if NC14 is nothing but NCN minus 14. So if NC14 is equal to, if NC14 is equal to NCN minus 14, so, and that is given to you, this is given to you, this is given in the problem. So in place of NC14, I can write NCN minus 14, and NCN minus 14 is equal to NC16. And you know that NCN minus 14 is equal to NC16. So then it means 16 is equal to N minus 14. It means N is 30. It means N is 30. So once you get the value of N, once you get the value of N, once you get the value of N, now N is 30. So what you have to find? You have to find 32Cn. Means you have to find 32C30. So what is 32C30? 32C30 is nothing but 32C30 is nothing but 32C2. What is 32? What is 32C2? What is 32C2? Always remember what is the value of 32C2. What is the value of 32C2? The value of 32C2 is 32 into 31 by 2. That means 16 into 31 means 496. So 32C2 is nothing but it is 496. You have to remember this, that NC2 is equal to N into N minus 1 by 2. NC2 is very important. The NC2 means N into N minus 1 by 2. Savita, this is the, I told you this this concept that NCN minus R is equal to N minus R. I told you before. So 32C2 is nothing but 32C30. Both mean same thing. If you calculate, you will get the same thing. 32C2 means 32 factorial by 2 factorial into 32 minus 2 factorial. And 32C30 means 32 factorial by 30 factorial into 32 minus 30 factorial. Both mean same thing. I told you NCR is equal to NCN minus R. You have to remember the formula. NCR, whenever you say NCR, NCR is equal to NCN minus R. So you have to understand this. So the NC2, NC1 means NCN means N. You have to understand this. If I'm saying what is NC0, NC0 means 1. NC0 means what? NC0 means from N object you have to choose no object. In how many ways can you do? One way. Okay, so if you want, we can spend our time N factorial by 0 factorial by N factorial. So you remember this. NC0 means 1. NC1 means N. NC1 means N. NC1 or NC N minus 1. Okay, so if I'm asking you what is 7C1, that is 7. If I ask you what is 7C6, that is also 7. So NC0 is 1, NC1 is N. If I ask you what is NC2, if I ask you what is NC2, NC2 means N into N minus 1 by 2. What is NC2? NC2 means N into N minus 1 by 2. NC2 formula is N factorial by 2 factorial into N minus 2 factorial. So you can waste your time writing N into N minus 1 into N minus 2 factorial, then by 2 into N minus 2 factorial. So they'll get cancelled. So you have to remember these things. So based on this, you have to understand, you have to remember that NC0 means 1, NC1 means N, NC2 means N into N minus 1 by 2. If I ask you what is NC3, NC3 means N into N minus 1 into N minus 2 by 3 factorial means 6. If I ask you what is NC4, NC4 means N into N minus 1 into N minus 2 into N minus 3 by 4 factorial means 24. So you have to keep this thing in your mind. And at the same time, you should know NCR is equal to NCN minus R. You have to keep remember this, that NCR is equal to NCN minus R. Going further, if I talk about the application of NC2, application of NC2, NC2 is very important. Whenever I'm asking you a number of straight line, if I'm asking a number of straight line in a plane, if I ask you number of straight line in a plane, the answer is NC2. Number of straight line in a plane. Suppose there are 10 points are there in a plane. Suppose there are 10 points are there in a plane. And so how many lines can you draw? So you can draw NC2 line, because if you join 2 points, you will get, if you join 2 points, you get a line. So number of straight lines in a plane. The number of straight line in a plane, that is NC2. So if there's a question comes in UPSC exam and all, so that out of 10 points in a plane, out of 10 points in a plane, out of 10 points in a plane, 6 points are collinear. Out of 10 points in a plane, 6 points are collinear. So if out of 10 points in a plane, 6 points are collinear. So what is the number of straight lines what you can draw? So how many straight lines can you draw? So if I ask you that out of n points in a plane, the 6 points are collinear. Out of, suppose if I ask you this some question, that out of 10 points in a plane, 6 points are collinear. So how many straight line can you draw? So what is the number of straight line? How many straight line can you draw? So the number of straight line what you can draw will be 10C2 minus 6C2 plus 1. This is very important concept. So number of straight line what you can draw. So from 10 points, you can draw 10 C2 line, and that but out of those 10 C2 line, 6 C2 line will not be a line, because 6 C2 they are collinear. Collinear means they are in same point, they are in same line. So because they are same line, so you could not end up in drawing line on them. They just end up in drawing giving you one line. So the number straight line is 10 C2 minus 6 C2 plus 1. If I ask you number of triangle, how many triangles can you draw? That would be 10 C3 minus 6 C3. Again, 6 points are collinear, so they will not able to make you to draw a triangle. They just affect your drawing of triangle. But to draw a triangle, you need 3 points. Either those three should be non-collinear, or at least two should be non-collinear. So this concept came in exam also. I think 2019 this question came. 2019, you can see this question. You can see question number 79. You can see this question number 79. You can see this question number 79, that there are 10 points in a plane, no three of which are in straight line, excepting the 4 points which are collinear. So how many triangles can you draw? So 4 points are collinear. So how many triangle can you draw? So the number of triangle you will draw will be 10 C3 minus 4 C3. So this would be the number of triangle. So 2019 this question came. So if I ask you, so this question came, there are 10 points in a plane, and no three of which are in straight line, excepting the 4 points which are collinear. So 4 points are collinear. So how many triangles can you draw? So here, how many triangle can you draw? So that would be 10 C3 minus 4 C3. What is 10 C3? 10 C3 means 10 into 9 into 8 divided by 3 factorial, minus 4 C3 means 4 only. So this is what this is. 120 minus 4 means 116. Option D. Fine. So very simple concept. So if I talk about number straight line in a plane, so if you join 2 point, you will get a line. So if n points are there, so how many lines can you draw? You can draw NC2 line. Okay, remember that concept. Now going further, application of NCR. If I talk about another application of NCR, can be the number of handshakes. The another application of NCR I can draw would be the number of handshake. So the number of handshake means NC2. So if n people are attending a party, that then n person will do handshake with n minus 1 person. So you will not do handshake with yourself. So n person will do handshake with n minus 1 person, and you are doing handshake with the other person, and the other person doing handshake with you. So duplication will happen. So the number of handshake would be n into n minus 1 by 2. This is also an important concept, number of handshake. I think which year this question came, 17 or what? Which year this question came? Some year, I think one year this question has came. You can see this question number 99. You can see this question number 99. At the end of the meeting, 10 people prevent handshake with each other. So total, what is the number of handshake? So the 10 persons are there. So they will do 10 C2 handshake. 10 C2 means 45 is the answer. Okay, so you can So number of handshake, so you can understand. So the number of handshakes in the party, so that is NC2. The number of handshake in the party, that is NC2. On this question comes on this, a question comes about handshake and namaste. So if you see this question number 15, if you see this question number 15, so you can read this question number 15. So you everyone read this question number 15, that there are 20 couples are there in a party. So each person greet every other person except his or her spouse. People of same gender do handshake, and those of opposite gender do namaskar. So what is the total number of handshake and namaskar in the party? So 20 couples are there. 20 couple means 20 male. 20 couple means 20 male and 20 female. 20 couple means 20 male and 20 female. So to number of handshake, what is the number of handshake will happen? So 20 male will do 20 C2 handshake and 20 female will do 20 C2 handshake. Okay, so people of same gender do handshake. 20 C2 means 190. 20 C2 means 190. That is 380. If I ask you namaskar, if I ask you namaskar, I ask you a namaskar. So people of opposite gender will do namaskar. So 20 male will do namaskar to 19 female. So except his spouse. So if I'll suppose if I went to a party, so if 20 couples are there, so 20 male will do namaste to 19 female. Okay, you can understand this, except his spouse. So I will not say namaste to my wife. Okay, so already in my house I told her namaste. So so if 20 male are there, so they will say namaste to 19 female. So you have to understand that whenever you say namaste, so suppose I say Jai Shri Krishna to someone wife, and someone wife told me Jai Shri Krishna. So whenever namaskar happens, then every time when two people greet each other, then two namaskar will happen. Means I say Jai Shri Krishna, the other person says Jai Shri Krishna, so the total namaskar would be two one time. Whenever the two people do handshake, one handshake happens. But whenever the two people say namaskar, then two namaskar happens. So the here, if you understand, this is total number of namaskar is 760. So the total number of handshake and namaskar in the party would be 1140. So you can understand this. This can come for your exam and all. So you can keep that concept in your mind. Okay. So this is the total number of namaskar and namaste. And keep this in your mind. Now, the third application of NC2 would be number of diagonals. The third application can be number of diagonal of n-sided regular polygon. Number of diagonal of n-sided regular polygon. So the number of diagonal of n-sided regular polygon. So the formula is NC2 minus n. So remember this formula, number of diagonal of n-sided regular polygon. So remember this formula. This formula is very important for exam point of view. So number of diagonal. I hope you understand what is diagonal. So diagonal, when you talk about diagonal, so diagonal is basically the line what is formed by joining two non-adjacent points. So suppose there are 5 points are there, A, B, C, D, E. With 5 points, what you can draw? You can draw a pentagon. So with 5 points, you can draw a pentagon. Okay, so how many, so if 5 points are there, how many lines can you draw? How many lines can you draw? If I ask a number of straight line, so you can say 5C2, 5 point is there, 5C2. 10 line you can draw. Okay, but I'm not looking for line, I'm looking for diagonal. What are diagonal? Diagonal are those lines what you join by joining non-adjacent points. If you join non-adjacent points, then the line what you get, that is called diagonal. So from N point, you can draw NC2 line. But out of these NC2 line, N lines, which are the sides of the polygon, because when you draw here, you'll draw, when you draw this NC2 line, when you're drawing this NC2 line, out of this NC2 line, there will be N lines which are the side of the polygon. You should not count them, because that they are not diagonal, they are the sides. So the number of diagonal formula is NC2 minus N. So NC2 is N into N minus 1 by 2 minus N. If you solve this, you'll get N square minus 3N by 2. This is the other formula. So this is the other formula. You can remember this number of diagonal of N-sided regular polygon. So the formula is N square minus 3N by 2. So basic understanding is important for us to work on these calculations. So if we are good in basic understanding, we can solve the question very easily. Okay, so you can think about going further. So you can think about Mansa. Today is the last day. So as the information what I got from the management, that today is the last class of the aptitude training. Although you can subscribe to my channel, and or you can go to my YouTube channel. If you go to my YouTube channel, you can, I believe you can I have made a separate playlist for you people for PGCT exam. So anyway, today is the last day, but these things I have developed for you. So you can watch these videos. I hope that will help you for your exam preparation. So till now, around 16 videos I have uploaded there. So this will help you for your training. So you can go, and whenever you get time, you can go and you can watch these videos. Okay. So anyway, so going further, because today is the last class, so I need to cover as much as I can for the today class. So I hope you understood. These are the application of NC2. So NC2, number of straight line in a plane, or if I talk about number of handshakes or number of diagonal of n-sided regular polygon. So all these are important for you to understand. All these are important for working on the problem. So then only you can understand it. Now going further, if I take a question, like suppose question number 78. So this question came in 2019 paper. This is 2019 paper. So in that, this is the question number 78. If we can discuss this question, let me take this question. So suppose this is the question. So how many 5-digit number you can form by using the digit 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, so that the even digit always occupy even places only. So the total digit given to you is 3. The total digit what is given to you is the total digit what you got is 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3. So how many even digits you got? Even digits are 4, 4, 6. How many odd digits are there? Odd digits are 3, 5, 5, 3. So you have 3 odd digits. Sorry, you have 3 even digits, and you have 4 odd digits, and you have to make a 5-digit number. Here you have to make a 5-digit number, and you have to make a 5-digit number, and that 5-digit number you have to make in such a way that the even digit always occupy even places. So you have to form in such a way that your even digit always occupy even places. So how you can do this? So you have to make a 5-digit number. So 5-digit number, what you make? So 5-digit number, you have to make 5-digit number. So if 5-digit number is there, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many even places you have? You have 2 even places. So we have 2 even places. I have 2 even places. And how many digits can I fill? So the digits what I can fill here on these 2 even places, the digit which I can fill, the digit what I can fill are 3 digits are there, 4, 4, 6. So 3 digits, in how many ways can I fill 3 digit in 2 places? So what I can do, I can take 4, 4, one case, or I can take 4, 6, or I can take 6, 4. So from this 3 digit, in how many ways can I pick 2 digits? So that I can do in how many ways? This I can do in 3 ways. So from the 3 digits which are 4, 4, 6, if I have to choose two digits, so in how many ways can I do? So this I can do in 3 ways. Okay. So I hope you understand. For even I have to make a 5-digit number. So in which the even digit should occupy even places. So how many ways can I do? I can do in 3 ways. Okay. Then I have odd digits. Now I have 3 odd places. Now I have 3 odd places. What are those 3 odd places? 1, 3, and 5th. I have to make a 5-digit number. So 2 even places were there. In those 2 even places, 3 digit can come in 3 ways. Similarly, I have 3 odd places. So in these 3 odd places, how many digits are there to fill? So how many digits are there to fill? Okay, how many digits are there to fill? So your digits are there to fill are 3, 3, 5, 5. So in how many ways can I fill 4 digits which are 3, 3, 5, 5 into 3 odd places? So in how many ways can I do? So I can make 3, 3, 5 as 1. Okay, or I can make 3, 5, 3 as 1, or I can fill those 3 places as 5, 3, 3. Okay, similarly I can make other as 5, 5, 3, 5, 1, or I can make 5, 5, 3, or I can make as 3, 5, 5. I can, with 3, 3, 5, 5, I have 4 digits, 3, 3, 5, 5, and I have 3 places. So those 3 places are first place, third place, and fifth place. So in how many ways can I put these 4 odd digits which are 3, 3, 5, 5 in 3 places? So what I can do, I can choose either 2, 3, or 1, 5, or either I can choose 2, 5, or 1, 3. So ultimately I can do this in 6 ways. So now, so the even digits I can fill in 3 ways, and odd digit I can fill in 6 ways. So the total number of ways I can make a 5-digit number will be 18 ways. The total number of ways in which I can make a 5-digit number by using this digit is 18 ways. So I hope you can understand this. Anyone have any doubt? Please let me know. Hemant, don't do like that way. If you do like that way, you will get confused because here the digits are repeating. You have to understand here the digits are repeating, Hemant. 3355, you have 4 digits. Digits are repeating. So you cannot do like that way. You have to understand here 4 digits are there. You have to understand here 4 digits are there, and these 4 digits you are putting in 3 ways. So you can put in how many ways? You can put them in 4p3 way. 4 digits are there, you're putting in 3 places. 4 digits are there, you can putting them in 3 places. In how many ways can you put? You can put them in 4p3 way, but the digit 33 is repeating and the digit 55 is repeating. You have to understand the digit 33. 33 is repeated 2 times, 55 is repeated 2 times. So in how many ways can you? So in how many ways can you do? This is 4 into 3 into 2 divide by 2 into 2 means 4. So the number of ways is 6 ways. You have to understand you're putting 4 digit in 3 places where the 2 digits are repeating. You have to understand this. If I ask you in how many ways can you, in how many ways can you write the letter of a word called mighty? So in how many ways can you write? So you can write in 4 factorial way. But if I ask you in how many ways can you write apple? So apple you can write in 5 factorial by 2 factorial way. Because P is repeating 2 times. Because P is repeating 2 times. You have to understand this. And if I ask you, if I ask you, there's a word called, in how many ways can you write this is called palindrome. In how many ways can you write this word called metotem? In how many ways can you write this word called metotem? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 factorial. Here the m repeat 2 times. So m repeat 2 times, so 2 factorial. E repeat 2 times, 2 factorial. T repeat 2 times, 2 factorial. R repeat 2 times, 2 factorial. I hope you can understand this. Anyone have any doubt? Okay, now imagine if I ask you, imagine if I ask you how many, imagine if I ask you how many, if imagine if I ask you how many 3-digit numbers are there. Imagine if I ask you how many 3-digit numbers are there. Imagine if I ask you how many 3-digit numbers are there. So the answer is 900. Imagine if I ask you how many 3-digit numbers are there, then your answer is 900. So how to do that? How many 3-digit numbers are there? So how to get this answer 3 and 900? If I ask you how many 4-digit numbers are there, if I ask you how many 4-digit numbers are there, if I ask you how many 4-digit numbers are there, if I ask you how many 4-digit numbers are there, then your answer is 9000. So how to do that? So either manually you can count, either manually you can count. The first 4-digit number is 1000. The first 4-digit number is 1000, and the last 4-digit number is 9999. So the first 4-digit number is 1000, and the last 4-digit number is 9999. So either manually you count from 1000 to 999. Okay, for that you can apply the formula of AP. So the nth term in AP, an is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d. So you can take the last term as 9999, first term as 1000, difference is 1, n minus 1. You can do this work, or what you can do, or what is the other doing? What is the other way of doing? The other way of doing is that you want to make a 4-digit number. The other way of doing this is you want to make a 4-digit number. So 4-digit number you want to make means 4 places are there. You want to make a 4-digit number means 4 places are there to be filled. So 4 places are there to be filled. How many digits are there? What is the total digits? How many digits are there? How many total digits you have? The total digits you have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What is the total number of digits you have? Total 10 digits you have. You have total 10 digits you have. You have total 10 digits you have, and you want to make a 4-digit number. So you have to understand digit. You have to understand how many digit can come in. You want to make a 4-digit number. You want to make a 4-digit number. You want to make a 4-digit number. So you know that altogether how many digits you have. So altogether you have 10 digits. Okay. So in order to make a 4-digit number, how many digit can come in thousand place? 9 digit can come in thousand place. How many digit can come in thousand place? 9 digits can come in thousand place. Zero cannot come here. Here zero cannot come, because if zero will come, it will become a 3-digit number. Then how many digit can come in 100 place? All the 10 digits can come. How many digit can come in 10th place? All the 10 digits can come. How many digit can come in unit place? All the 10 digits can come. So how many 4-digit numbers are there? So we can say total 9,000 4-digit numbers are there. So basic understanding is important for us to solve the question. So if we have a basic understanding on solving the problem, then we can solve the question very easily. Solving them is not at all any rocket science. You can easily solve these questions. So how many 4-digit numbers can you make? So the total 9,000 4-digit numbers can you make? Okay, based on this, you will get a lot of numericals when you are solving questions and all in aptitude exam and all. You get lot of questions. So basic understanding if you have, you can easily solve the question. Like if you can see this question number 9. So how many numbers lying between 3,000? You can see this question number 9. How many numbers lying between 3,000 and 4,000 which are divisible by 5 can be formed by this digit 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many numbers are lying between 3,000 and 4,000 and which are divisible by 5 can be made by using this digit? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 6, 7, 8. Total you can see 6 digits are there, and repetition should not be there. So you have to make a number between 3,000 and 4,000. So you have to make a number between 3,000 and 4,000. So the number what you need to form, that number should be between 3,000 and 4,000. So you can understand. So if you have to form a number between 3,000 and 4,000, with that you can understand the first digit should be 3. So with this you can understand this, your first digit should be 3, and first digit cannot be 4, 5 and all, no, because then your number will be more than 4,000. So your number should be between 3,000 and 4,000. Means the first place the digit should be 3, and then the next thing it is asked that number should be divisible by 5. The next thing it is asked that the number should be divisible by 5. So you know that divisibility rule of 5, that a number is divisible by the 5 if the number ends with 0 or 5. You know that concept, a number is divisible by 5 if the number ends with 0 or 5. Here there is no 0, only 5 is there. So means the first digit will be 3 and the last digit should be 5. So that is, they are fixed. Means there is no combination. There is no arrangement, nothing. The first digit should be 3 and the last digit should be 5. Okay. Now after that, 2 places are left. How many digits are left? Digit left are 3, 4, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, you can see this. You're done with 3, you're done with 5. So how many digits are left? 4, 6, 7 and 8. So out of these 4 digits, any digit can come here. Okay, and then any remaining 3 digit can come here. So how many number can you make? You can make 12 numbers. How many numbers can you make? You can make 12 numbers. So basic understanding if we have on numbers, we can easily solve the problem. Solving problem will not be big thing for us. Only thing we need to develop a basic understanding about numbers. I hope this is clear with all of you. Okay, so like going further, if I going further, if I see previous year exam paper and all, if I see previous year exam paper, you can see suppose this question number 90. Yeah, Reshma, you are correct. If repetition is allowed, then 4 into, then repetition is allowed, then Reshma, then you can take all the 6 digits, no? So repetition is allowed, then it's not, then if repetition is allowed there, you can take all the other digits also, no? Total 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6 digits are there. So that would be 6 into 6, not 4 into 4. Because then 3 and 5 also can come here in these places. Okay. Now see this question came in 2018. So this question came in 2018. So you have to make a 7-digit number that you have to make by using the digit only 2 and 3. So how many of these are multiple of 12? So you have to make a 7-digit number, and that 7-digit number should be only of 2 and 3. Okay, so you have to make a 7-digit number, and that 7-digit number you have to make by using 2 and 3, no other digits. Okay, that so they are not talking repetition and all. So any digit can repeat as many times. Okay, but the number should be multiple of 12. Multiple of 12 means it should be multiple of 3 and 4. Multiple of 12 means it should be multiple of 3 and 4. Okay, so multiple of 12 means it should be multiple of 3 and 4. Okay, so what is the divisibility rule of 4? The divisibility rule of 4 is that the last 2 digits should be divisible by 4. I hope everyone knows that. Divisibility rule of 4 is that the last 2 digits should be divisible by 4. So means last 2 digits should be divisible. So now think last 2 digit can be either 22 or 33 or 24. Sorry, not 24. 24 is not possible. 23 or 32. So these is the only 4 cases are there. So the last 2 digits should be divisible by 4. So in which case the last 2 digit is divisible. So you can understand this is the only one case, 32. So that means what that means? That means your last 2 digit will be 32, because you have to make a 7-digit number. You have to make a 7-digit number by using 2 and 3 only. Okay, so you will think about the cases. They ask you about the multiple of 12. So multiple of 12 means it should be divisible by 3 and 4. What is divisibility rule of 4? Divisibility rule of 4 is that the last 2 digits should be divisible by 4. So last 2 digits should be divisible by 4. Then so last 2 digits, you think of the case by using 2 and 3, what can be the case? It means there's only one case possible, that your last 2 digits should be 32. Okay, now you have to make a 7-digit number. So the remaining 5 places, you can fill, but the last 2 digits should be 32. That is fixed. Okay, now so I am done with the divisibility rule of 4. Now I'll talk about divisibility rule of 3. Multiple of 3. So divisibility rule of 3 is that the sum of digits should be divisible. Okay, sum of digits should be divisible. So now you think about the cases. You think about the cases. So the first case means 5 places, no? Vandu, Erudu, Muru, Nalku, Aidu. 5 places are there. So all 5 places 2. So if you think about all 5 places 2. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2. Suppose is this number. So is this possible? So you have to make a digit number only 2 and 3. So is this possible? So you'll do, for that you have to take the sum. To see the sum. What is the sum? So the sum is 15. Yes, this is possible. Because divisibility rule of 3 means that the sum of the digits should be multiple of 3. So here if you do the sum, so the sum should be here if you take the, if you use the divisibility rule of 3, then the sum of the digit should be divisible by 3. So you can see the sum. So the sum is 15, means it is divisible by 3. So then you think about the cases. How many cases are possible? So only one case is possible. Why? 2, 2, 2, 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 32 is fixed. Okay, so 2, 2, 2, 2 means how many ways can you do this? 5 factorial by 5 factorial. That is only one way. And 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So how many numbers can you make? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So there's only one number you can make. And so then next case, think about the cases. What can be the other case? Think about the cases. Second case, maybe suppose 4, 2, 4, 2 and 1, 3. Suppose like this. Suppose 4, 2 and 1, 3. Is this possible? So 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2. You have to understand. So if you do the sum we will get 16. So it is not possible. So you have to understand, if you use your brain, don't waste your time doing like this. Don't waste your time doing like this. 3, 2 and 2 3s. So don't waste your time like doing like this. Don't waste your time doing like this, because here the sum is 17. Use your brain. See, here the sum you are getting 15. Okay, you use your brain. You use your brain that the minimum what you will get is 15. The minimum sum what you will get is 15. Use your brain, the minimum sum, because the last two place is 32, that is fixed. And the minimum is you can take only 2 and 3. So the minimum sum you will get 15. So what would be the next sum? Next sum would be 18, where the number should be divisible by 3. How that is possible? How that is possible? How that is possible? That is possible if you take 2, 2, 2 and 3, 3, because last two digit is fixed. The last two digit is fixed. So you think about the case. What is that case? When you take 2, 2, 2 and 3 times 3. That is the case. Now if you add them, the sum is 15. Now how many cases can you draw for this? How many possibilities there for this? How many possibilities there for this? For this you can think about 5 factorial by 2 factorial, 3 factorial. The total cases possible is 10. So what is the total number? How many numbers can you make? You can make total 11 numbers. This would be the answer for this question. So either you can waste your time developing the cases. This is nothing but, this is 5C2 only. So 2, 2, because the multiple of 12 they ask. So multiple of 12 means the number should be divisible by both 3 and 4. So 4 is last two digit. Then for 3, you have to think about 3. How many cases can you draw for 3? You think about 3. How many cases can you draw for 3? So that you use your brain and you'll understand. So like this, other questions also, like all these questions, like 91, the answer is 7. Then 92, the answer is 13. 92, the answer is 13. 93, the answer is option D. So all these I have solved already in the, if you see 2018 paper. So already I have solved this paper. If you see 2018 solution in my channel, you can see all these solutions. 94, the answer is 36. Already I have solved these questions. You can if you go to my channel, you can see the solution also. 96, again the answer is 60. So you can watch there. You go to my channel, you watch the video, you'll understand. 96, again they're asking you the divisibility rule of 12. So 12 means it should be divisible by both 3 and 4. So you'll develop cases and then you'll solve it. Very good question. Question number 96 is very good question. So good level of question. So I hope you can easily solve these questions on permutation combination. Difficult question they will not ask you. Difficult question they will not ask you in exam. Difficult and all, if you want good level and all, if you want, you can watch this ranking of word. Watch this video on ranking of word in dictionary. So if I make a word in dictionary, so what is a ranking of word in the dictionary? So suppose if I make a 6-letter word by using these letters called MASTER, so what would be the ranking of this word? Difficult level question can be summation of digits. Difficult level of question can be summation of digits and all. So they can be difficult kind of problem. They can be difficult kind of problem. But here in exam and all, like if I ask you this question, maybe if I ask you this question, that find the sum of all 3-digit number by using the digit 1, 2, 3, 4, such that the digits cannot repeat. So these are difficult level problem. So they will not ask you these kind of problem. In exam, they will ask you basic questions and all that you can easily solve. Okay, so solving them and all will not be big thing. So I think I have developed a basic understanding for you all on permutation and combination. And you can watch this video. Along with that, there's another video on permutation combination where I solve lot of problems around how many problems? Around 25 problems I have solved there one by one. If you want to, if you are really interested for permutation combination, you can watch that to understand much more a better concept on permutation combination. So that will again develop a better foundation for all of you. So I hope you have learned what all I have taught you till now. So with that, it's time for me to wind up the class. So I really hopeful that we'll meet again for some classes. Otherwise, there's a final bye to all of you and best of luck to all of you for your PGCET exam. So please let me know your score, your results, if we'll not discuss again. So otherwise, meet well and good. If you don't meet, so then it's final goodbye and best of luck for your PGCET exam. Be patient in exam. There will be a lot of easy problems. Focus on easy problem instead of solving difficult problem. And there's no negative marking. So please don't leave any question. Attempt all the question, no matter you know or you don't know. Okay, everyone. So then I'll say goodbye to all of you. Thank you, everyone. Again, you have verbal class, so I will not take much of your time. So please take care of yourself. Good morning to all of one and all. Everyone, thank you, everyone. See you again for some classes. Take care, everyone. Bye. Take care.